appears that Donald Trump's, former President Donald Trump's legacy, his big, beautiful border wall, is getting beaten by a very simple invention, the invention of a ladder. Yes. There's a new report from Texas Monthly that is claiming the United States Border Patrol is finding itself constantly having to destroy, dismantle, and remove cheap $5 ladders that it finds left on the side of the wall along the U.S. Mexico border. Because, of course, sure. Of course. In fact, the Border Patrol says it destroys so many ladders that it has to call the city of Hidalgo, Texas, to haul away the piles of lumber that are produced by the destroyed ladders. This is great. So, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? The wall is a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea made by stupid people, perpetuated by people who are equally stupid. I mean, come on. Now, Scott Nickel, local artist and activist, tells the Texas Monthly that the ladders used by undocumented immigrants to enter the United States show how useless Trump's most beloved infrastructure project is. Quote, unlike the wall, these ladders are functional. Border walls are just backdrops for politicians who want to rile up their voters. And I think that explains many who've supported this on the right wing. I mean, a ladder beats a wall. You build a higher wall, well, then people just bring a higher ladder. I mean, what are you going to do? Build the wall to space? Then you're just going to have somebody fly over it. It doesn't work. And who could have known? Who could have known? I mean, anybody with two brain cells to rub together knows that, walls are not going to keep people out. But conservatives, they're not sending their best. They're not sending their best. Look, again, you can go over a wall, you can go under a wall, go around it. At the end of the day, it doesn't work. Walls for keeping immigrants out don't work. Well, what does that? Might be your question. Because, again, okay, we have an issue right now with unaccompanied children. Okay, you've got a lot of children without parents coming over the border. Okay, now the Biden administration is like, oh my God, it's a crisis, right? At least conservatives are like, oh my God, oh, look at all these people, dangerous migrants coming out. Look at the caravans. Now, I see the problem is logistic, okay? So right now, we don't have a lot of places to safely put people, okay? So we need to get on that. We're a wealthy country. We can afford to house people and house them in safe, sanitary conditions where they have their needs met. We are able to do this, okay? Unfortunately, we are having a very difficult time doing this right now, even under the Biden administration. And so really, if you want to stop that problem, then you got to get to the root of the source, okay? The root of the problem. And that, of course, is much more difficult to do than building a wall because you'd actually have to end the drug war. That would be one. Increase aid to countries in order to combat global poverty. You also need to end the military involvement in places where, for example, Central and South America. You need to end the corporate exploitation of these regions and people contained in them. For example, one of the reasons that a lot of immigrants came from Mexico is because we destroyed the corn industry in Mexico by heavily subsidizing American corn industries. And so Mexican farmers were not able to compete against American made corn. And so, again, because we heavily subsidize it, and now it's pretty much in everything. Everything's got corn in it, corn syrup, all of that. And so they were left without anything to be able to do. So they went over to America looking for opportunity for jobs to escape crushing poverty. That's a result of us. Again, people that are fleeing the violence in Central America. That is a result of our foreign policy. And so, yes, we do have some. It turns out we have some influence in the world. I know it's weird. Super, super strange. Super strange. But, I mean, that's just indicative, though, of like how difficult it is to do this compared to basically doing a giant virtue signal like a wall. And so that's why weak, ineffective politicians like Republicans simply put up walls and hope for the best. It does nothing. It creates some temporary construction jobs, gives us the illusion of having done something about immigration when you've actually literally done nothing. Have we learned nothing from the Berlin Wall, the Great Wall of China, the Siege of Troy, Jericho? Anybody? Jericho? It's so stupid. Again, we need massive immigration reform in this country, a pathway to citizenship so that people, when they get here, will first be documented. They'll be able to go out and work, and they'll be able to get stuff because they already pay taxes here. They'll be able to get the things from the tax money that they've already been paying into. Again, undocumented immigrants are a huge source of tax revenue, but they get nothing in return. They also end up creating a lot of businesses. They stay out of trouble with law enforcement way more than people who are actually born here. And so what we need is an actual solution and not dumbass walls that cost billions of dollars that a $5 ladder from Home Depot could defeat. And here's the thing. I know Trump's out of power. Well, then why am I doing this? Why am I talking about this? Because the Biden administration right now doesn't know what they're going to do with the wall. Now, Biden originally said, I'm going to tear it down. Now they're like, I don't know, maybe we'll build onto it. Maybe. So right now, there's a lot of mixed messages. In fact, recently it was reported that Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas recently told his agency employees that construction on Trump's border wall may resume to, quote, plug some of the gaps, according to the Washington Times. And I know they're a conservative libertarian source, but why would you do this? Why would you continue construction on a wall that doesn't work? Not only that, but after running for office, vowing not to build another foot of Trump's wall, Biden signed an executive order on Inauguration Day ending the national emergency at the border and launching a 60-day review of the project, pausing construction, and calling for a plan to redirect unspent funds. Now, I have a problem with him pausing this instead of canceling it. He should have just said, no, well, I mean it. I mean business. Cancel all the projects. And now, 60 days. It's been 60 days since that happened, and the government is still trying to take land via eminent domain and lawsuits in order to build a wall. So, Luke Ellis, this is a Texas attorney representing border landowners in court, said, quote, the 60-day window has come and gone. The most recent update we have from the lawyers from the government is that they still don't know what's going to happen. So there is no clear leadership on this issue, which means they could still go back to resuming construction, or maybe they won't. We don't know. Gloria Pena, an attorney for the Texas Civil Rights Project, which is a nonprofit group that is opposed to building the wall, said, quote, the president has been very clear on the record that he is committed to no longer confiscating land. However, this group, which has called on Biden to keep the campaign pledge to withdraw lawsuits and return land to property owners, says, from our perspective, this still has felt like a massive betrayal. True. And with Biden right now, together, trying to reduce the number of refugees, at least until he got caught, it feels like he's either still committed to keeping out immigrants almost as much as what we did under Donald Trump, or caving to the right wing and trying to not appear, quote unquote, weak towards Fox News, towards conservatives when it comes to immigration. And that, of course, is not what we voted for. We're not back in 2008. A lot of people are now more understanding. We see that immigration is a net good. And so what we want is not more walls, more ridiculous stuff, keeping people out. What we want is real solutions and not more BS like what we saw with Trump. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.